Hi all, I'd like to do some Excel videos, Microsoft Excel. I've done a few basic ones, but they weren't an introductory type thing. I think I did a solver, a chart, a pivot table. If you want to get into VBA, Excel VBA programming, that's kind of like a Visual Basic thing. We'll get into that later on. For now, we'll just start with just a basic Excel tutorial. I used to teach this at college, part-time, 10-15 years or so. And what I started doing was I put all my lectures inside Word files. That was because then I wouldn't miss anything during class. We still use the actual program, the Excel application, but this made it nice working off Word files, because then the students would have something to look at after the class time. So we'll do a video working around this Word file, and of course we'll use the application too. Okay, so Excel is a spreadsheet used for accounting, but it can also just be used for bookkeeping. Big difference between bookkeeping and accounting. You're just keeping track of numbers. Bookkeeping is just adding things up and things like that, where accounting would be using those numbers to forecast things. We sold $1 million worth of product this year. What do we have to do to sell 2 million next year? So we'll start the application. This is how you start it up in XP, Windows 10. I have an item down here, or we can click on this guy, and I have it on my start menu here, or we can find it here in the list. Microsoft Office Excel. It's a green icon, Microsoft Office Excel. I have version 2007. I've also taught 10 and 2016. It's all basically the same stuff. The menus might change a little bit, but it's all basically the same. Okay, so this is Excel. This area in here, these boxes are the spreadsheet. Okay, so to follow my Word file here, start it up. Okay, so when you start Excel, it starts you with 3 sheets. They're down here at the bottom. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. That would be like having 3 sheets of paper. So if we go back to the application, you can see here we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So you can't really tell a difference now, but like if I put a number on each sheet, so you can see what's happening. So you can see on sheet 1, we have the number 1, sheet 2, we have the number 2, sheet 3, we have the number 3. So 3 sheets. Somewhere at Microsoft, they decided that whenever you use Excel, you normally use 3 sheets. You can create more, or you can delete the ones you don't need. So Each square is called a cell. You type numbers and text into the cells. When a cell is highlighted, you'll see it in black. That means it's selected. So if we go back here, you can see we have cell A1 selected. If we click out here, it's cell C1. And it shows us up here what cell is selected. Cell C5. It may be easy to see it here, but like if you get down and way down in the bottom of the spreadsheet, it's kind of hard to see what's going on here, so it tells you what cell is selected here. So normally when you enter text, you click on the cell and you enter in some text or numbers, and then you can just click off of it, but you can hit the enter key to make it stick. Every cell has a type. The whole spreadsheet starts out as a general type. So if we go back to our spreadsheet, if we click on here, we can see here the type. It's a general type. And if you right click the cell and go to format, it shows here it's the general type. They set it up like that because they don't know what you're going to be entering inside the cells. You know, if you're going to be entering text or numbers or this format cells box, that's the one that I'd say we probably use the most inside of Excel. We're always coming back to this box for many different types of things, so that's a good one to be aware of. You can also get to it from this format button, format cells, same thing. So we have 3 ways to get to the same box. In case you aren't aware of file type, you know, cell type, file type, it's all kind of the same thing, you know. So, these days a lot of people don't really worry about the type of file. You can kind of you can tell this is a Word file because of the picture. You know, we know what that W means, so we don't really worry about the docx, the doc file. You know, you might even have that turned off on your system, so you might not see that extension, what comes after the dot. You know, you may only see Excel1, but the file name is excel1.docx. And like if we have an Excel file, you can see on it an Excel file, it's XLS. Let's see, I'll make this bigger. You know, XLS for Excel. Now the older files were just XLS for Excel spreadsheet, and the X was added in version 2007. The X was added in Office 2007. X meaning XML. So that's a good way to know older Word files or older Excel files. It may only be XLS, where the newer Excel files will be XLSX. Okay. In general, though, most people don't even worry about these extensions. That's the extensions, meaning what comes after the dot. Most people just leave them turned off. Okay, so the common ones are txt for text. A text file would be like a notepad file. See, like if we create a notepad file here, .text is a notepad file. Word files, spreadsheets. A paint file is BMP. For bitmap, don't let the extension mess you up. It's just some fancy thing they threw at the end of the file. So, most photos are JPEG. Artwork are GIFs. They're like a picture you would take with a camera, like of a person or nature or something like that, are normally JPEG files. And GIFs are like artwork, clip art, things you would draw with a crayon type thing. There is some overlap, but in general, that's the way it's set up. The number box on the ribbon also displays the cell type. That's this guy here. You see, if we click on the cell, it says it's the general type. We can change it just by clicking the drop down. We click a cell and the box here shows us the type of the cell. You can move the cell selection just by using the arrow keys up and down. If you hit the enter key, it goes down. What's kind of odd for me is you don't have to hit the enter key to actually enter data. If I want to, I can just type 1, arrow over, type 2, arrow over, type 3, arrow over, 4, without having to hit the enter key. And the reason why they have it set up like that is because accountants like to move around their spreadsheet fast with the arrow keys, and so every time they arrow off of a cell, they don't have to hit the enter key. I'm always used to hitting the enter key to get items to stick inside of a box, but in Excel you don't have to do that. So which cell is selected, it shows you in this box here. You can see this button is blank. This is the only button I know of that actually changes. So like you can see here, it's blank here. If I type in a number here, then this box changes. Okay, X means to cancel out that number and delete it, or the check mark is like pressing the enter key. There's also a quick access toolbar there at the top. That's this guy here. Just click the little down arrows and you'll see more. Let's say when I use Excel, I create a lot of new spreadsheets. I might want the new button to show up here. So I can say, okay, put the new spreadsheet button here, or put the open button here. I can go to show more commands, and these are all the commands that you can add to your Excel title bar. The reason why they like to do that is because you can turn off the ribbon, and then you can have all these common commands that you use a lot on your title bar. You can show it below the ribbon here. It's on top of the ribbon, and we can say show below the ribbon, and now this bar here with our common commands is below the ribbon, and we can fill the whole thing up. The reason they like to do that is because if you put a lot of commands on that bar, it runs into the title here. So I've never tried it, but that's what I've heard. So, and we can always put it back up at the top. In case you don't know the basics here, if you double click this space here, it displays and makes it stay open. If you want to close the ribbon so you have more space down here, you can click here and it goes away. If you just click once, then it will open, and then when you click off of it, it'll go away. It just depends on how you like the work. Two new items on the quick access toolbar are sort ascending, sort descending. I guess accountants always like to sort things, so when you save an Excel file, you save it as a workbook. I think they simplified this in the next version, 2010, 2016, but you should still understand that when you save an Excel file, you save it as a workbook. Okay, so like this is a book, right? If we have one sheet, just one sheet is just one sheet. A whole bunch of sheets is a book. Okay, just follow me here. So when you save your Excel file, there's 3 sheets here. So we go File, Save as a workbook. And I'll put this in my Excel folder. And you can see it names it book1.xls. Okay. So now we have our Excel file. But what's odd to me anyways is, like, if we delete these guys here, so now we have one spreadsheet, and then when we save this as a workbook, we'll save this as book 2. See, we still save it as a workbook, even though we have one sheet. And then the extension is Excel Spreadsheet X. So it should be XLW, Excel Workbook. So there's other ways you can save your Excel file, and we'll go over more of these later on. Most of them you never use. Okay, so if you wanted to create more sheets, you can just, this guy here, add sheets. You can rename these, just right click them and go to rename. You can just double click them. And change the name. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for the first video, and when we come back in the next video we'll get into the spreadsheet area and talk more about what we can do there. Okay, see ya. Bye.